What's up guys, NepentheZ here and welcome back to another FC24 video. Today we're going to be discussing future stars that you saw briefly on the screen there and why it's actually created a big problem within the game at the moment. And I didn't plan on making this video, but I was reading a lot of my Twitter feed from other content creators and traders and a lot of my viewers as well. I asked you guys on Twitter your thoughts about future stars and how it's working. And overall, there's some like mixed reviews, but there tends to be a massive disappointment with future stars, in spite of the fact that I personally think it's very good in areas, not perfect, of course, but I think it's very good in areas. And it's actually kind of exposed more of a big issue with the state of the game because of the way the power curve has gone. And I kind of want to like just talk through it, I suppose. Like if we take, obviously we did the 6 p.m. video yesterday where we already took the future stars information, we looked at it, we saw what was there. And in terms of the objective card, Magasa, it is absolutely fair to say this card is just pointless, right? This is a sort of card where you've got to hope that somewhere down the line it's evoable. And if it is, it might be good. But one of the problems with this card is the lack of playstyles and quality playstyle plus, because what Team of the Year did, giving 2 playstyle pluses, insane playstyles, skill move and weak for upgrades, and very good playstyles in general, as well as playstyle pluses, Team of the Year also gave a mammoth amount of SBCs that even without 2 playstyle pluses, and we'll get to the Future Stars Academy stuff in a moment, but even without the playstyle pluses, a lot of the SBCs that we got given over Team of the Year are just very, very, very good players that have very good playstyles, even if they don't have playstyle pluses. The fact, for example, that Eusebio has been in the game for God knows how long, and he's got a very good playstyle plus, he's got power shot, and he's just in general an insane card with insane stats and 4-star, 5-star, means that people have had ample opportunity to pick him up and put him into their team. When you look at Ashley Cole, he's good. Zico is great. 5-star, 5-star. He's got insane stats. He's got very good playstyles. Tiki-taka, incisive pass, set piece plus, which I think is very undervalued in the game. Technical, which is one of the best playstyles. And Travella, which is one of the best playstyles. Maybe not on old gen. I think post-patch people are kind of up in the air as to whether or not Travellas have been nerfed or not. From what I've seen, they got nerfed, but not to the point where they're now unusable. I still think they're like super powerful and very good in game. But you've got these cards, even George Best. You know, George Best has got 2 playstyle pluses. He's got 5-star, 4-star, and he's got ridiculous in-game stats. And of course, not everybody can just afford to build these SBCs and get these players. But if you're a hardcore player, you probably have them, or you probably packed a Team of the Year. You know, Sour is another one. She's got Relentless Plus and Press Proven Plus, which are both very good. She's got some otherwise good playstyle pluses. She's 4-star, 4-star, high work rates, which is perfect, and then has phenomenal in-game stats. You know, I see her in so many teams, and in fact, I see Sour, Best, Zidane, Pullet, Eusebio, Henry, Cafu. Like, these cards are so good. And then you look at the objective card, and you think, okay, who is this for? It's possibly for somebody who is a fan of Monaco. But the truth be told is, you most likely have an Evo card at least on par with this, if not better. It's possibly for just card collectors. It's possibly for new people on the game. But half the problem with that is that there are so many cards as good as or better than this that are incredibly cheap and easily obtainable, to the point where, once again, who is this for? And this is where we're in a situation now, what EA have done, where they have created a game world where everybody's team is so good. And I think that they had the anticipation that the power curve would go up a lot quicker this year with cards that had no playstyle pluses and just racked up those ratings and then racked up those in-game stats and then introduced playstyles to everybody. And that was like almost resetting the power curve, because it's like you could have someone like Magasa and he's okay. For example, him, not him, because obviously he's not good enough, but for example, him, then they'd release like a carbon copy of him, but somebody else, but with 2 playstyle pluses, you know, maybe like Relentless Plus or Anticipate Plus, and maybe also like Finesse Shot. And it's like, okay, now you've got this Magata who was good, but they've released a carbon copy with a better playstyle and a better playstyle plus and a double playstyle plus, maybe even a weak foot upgrade. And all of a sudden, even though the in-game stats would be the same, the power curve, it almost like pushed this level of player down and was like, oh, look, these are now irrelevant. And so I think in their minds, at least this is my interpretation, in their minds, they were trying to use playstyles and playstyle pluses as a way to keep upping the situation with playstyle pluses with the power curve, right? What has ended up transpiring, therefore, because of that, is when we actually look at the cards that you can get for future stars. Can I look at the team here, or does it take me to the transfer market? When we actually look at the future stars cards, they are just generally terrible, even if they have 2 playstyle pluses, or if they're not terrible, they're not as good as high-rated cards with 1 playstyle plus or with just better playstyles. You know, for example, you look at Barrios. Maybe EA wanted an affordable future stars, but that's surely what the objectives, SBCs, and evos are for. But he's just not very good. Endo is not very good. And it's created this world where James is expensive, Boniface is reasonably expensive, Garnacho and Doku are very expensive, Balde is very expensive, and Rodman, I believe, is extinct. And you look at these players, and you think, even those cards, even Balde, he's got Rapid Plus and Intercept Plus. Because of Pep's Legacy Evo, so many people either have Ashley Cole or Carchawi or Hernandez Team of the Year, or an insane left back from Pep's Legacy, or some other left back that's been released throughout the game because the power curve has been hiked up so dramatically. And so the cards that you would actually use, and when I say use, I don't mean that you can't use Barrios, you can, but he is a step down of a card, right? So the cards that you would actually use, James, Boniface, Garnacho, Doku, etc., you would look at those cards and you think, yeah, do you know what? I've got Zidane, or I've got Willian 91, for me personally. This is my Arsenal Evo Road to Glory. I've got this 91 Willian. I would very happily take him out of the team for a handful of games to try a Garnacho or to try a Doku. But I'm not going to take him out of my team to try an Endo, because why on earth would you? You know, he's got much better play styles. He's got a good playstyle plus. It's one of the worst, but it is fun, especially when you're not up against somebody who's very good. He's got ridiculous in-game stats, and he's got 4-star, 4-star. And I look at this card, and I'm like, the cards that are on offer, and this is on a Road to Glory where I've spent no money, the cards that are on offer just aren't good enough. So what can EA do? You know, what can they do when they've released a promo team where you've either got massively expensive cards, and even the massively expensive cards, I think, are massively expensive because they're rare and not because they're sought after. You know, I don't think Garnacho looks too crazy. I think we've had some Evos that are reasonable in that regard. And when we look at evolutions, I'm currently doing Brobby, and I think I'm going to do Okafor as my second. But once this Brobby gets fully upgraded, this is the part I like about the game. But I do understand people's concerns about this area of the game. So for me personally, I've been waiting for somebody who has Power Header Plus and Aerial. I would have preferred it to be an Arsenal player. And so I get the fact that you've only got 9 options here. You've got to pick from those 9 options. You get 2 of them, and then you get 2 players that you probably don't want. And I wonder always, what could EA have done to make this suit everybody's needs? And I just don't know if in the current game climate they could have done anything, because they want them to be young players because they're future stars. They want them to actually be future stars. They want to make them good, but probably not too broken. And then they want them to be usable in-game, which is why they've given the chemistry. But for me, for example, I'm running an Arsenal Evo RTG where my theory was every Evo is going to be an Arsenal player. There's no Arsenal players here. So what can I do? And who could I have put in there? You know, because we don't have anyone in the club. Like, you know, we don't have anyone young enough to fit future stars. We don't have anyone that hasn't previously had a future stars. We just don't really have anyone. So what could they have done? And that's where I'm like a bit lost. I don't really know. With that being said, I really like this. You know, the options that you've got, I think there's 3 or 4 very good options, 2 or 3 good options, and then a couple of like, I probably wouldn't bother with them sort of options. You know, even for me, Athenia, it's a good card because of the 5-star, 5-star, but it gives a power header plus an acrobatic for somebody who's 5'5". Just a bit illogical. Doesn't make sense. It makes the playstyle pluses a bit redundant. And so even these evos have exacerbated what is a likely problem with the game right now. And that is, it's not the fact that there's a massive power curve that can't be caught up with promos unless those promo cards are going to be like dumb good and extinct. And bear in mind, we're only in February, right? We've still got many months of this game cycle to go. We're only 5 months in. If you started an account now or this week, because we are expected to get the midfielder version of these FS Academy and the defender version of this FS Academy, assuming that it's portrayed the same, we're going to get 2 midfielders, 2 defenders, and 2 attackers, all that are going to have double playstyle pluses, all that are going to be 90 rated on perfect chemistry and be absolutely jacked. Which means, opposed from a goalkeeper and 4 other slots in your team, you're going to be able to get a really, really good team if you start the game this week. And the reason why that becomes frustrating for a lot of people, I think, is because I've been working for 5 months for this team, and I'm still rocking an 84 rated Urian Timber. And, you know, I'm still rocking an 86 rated Emil Smith Rowe, who's finally up to 4-star, 5-star. But as you can see there, I've got 474 games on him. And the evos, I love evos. I think EA got them massively wrong, but I do love them. But it is crazy that you can join the game today and within this promo itself, through evolutions alone, get a team that's going to be nowhere near as good as the Team of the Year players, the premium icons, the SBC icons, everybody's, you know, all of these like hijacked players everyone's got. You know, we actually see Kai Havertz quite a lot as well because Whip Pass Plus is quite a good playstyle plus. You've got the Bruno Fernandes SBC, and I couldn't for the life of me figure out why Elliot was so cheap. I packed him untradeable, and just in general, I was like, how is he 120,000 coins? He's English. He's from Liverpool, which gives him credence in the game. He's got 4-star, 4-star. He's got good dribbling. Not the best defending and physical, though good stamina. He's got good passing, good shooting. Reasonable pace. The split is a bit weird. He's got finesse shot, Trivela, which is great. Incisive pass and technical plus, which are very good. And just looking at my team now, I now understand why he's not expensive. Because everybody has Bruno Fernandes. Bruno Fernandes has got way more shooting, way more passing, way more physical, way more defending, and then a little bit less pace and a little bit less dribbling. But Bruno Fernandes also has got 4-star, 4-star, and he's also got very, 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 very good play styles, including in long ball pass plus, which is also very good. You know, the fact that he's got relentless, the fact that he's got anticipate, the fact that he's got ping pass, these are all like quality play styles on a player. And it's like, if you've got Bruno Fernandes and you pack tradable Elliot, you probably just don't care because you're like, again, it comes down to that situation of these players, these kind of like, you've got like the star players, the Dokus and the Garnachos, which of course is even debatable in that whether or not they get into people's teams. But you've got those star level. You've then got everything else below that where you're like, they're just not better. They're just not better than cards that people have already got. And because we've had so many packs this year and so many promos this year and evolutions, it exacerbates a big problem that I think this game has right now, which is the fact that there is nowhere to play with quote-unquote fun cards. There's nowhere... I think I packed Endo, actually. Let me have a look here. I did. There is nowhere reasonable that you're going to say, do you know what, let me put her into a team and play with her. First and foremost, difficult to link. You know, not too many great Japanese players. If you've got Sawa, great. But if you haven't, difficult to link. Not too many LA women players who are like premium, and not too many American League women players that are premium. He's actually got all right play styles. You know, Trivela Relentless is good, Press Proven is very good, and Technical Plus is very good. But when you look at the in-game stats, pace is good. Passing is so mediocre. Shooting is it's mediocre. Dribbling, honestly, at this stage in the game is so mediocre. And she's probably 10k. And it might be to help with fodder prices, potentially so. But I always look at players like this and I think to myself, where are we playing them? Because of the game modes, and this is where I was kind of like leading into this. What I think the general overall problem of this game is, it's not this particular promo. It's not Road to the Final promo. It's not Team of the Year promo. It's the fact that the game modes you can play them in are just exhausting. Champs qualifiers is fun. And Endo's the sort of player where I'd be like, do you know what? Champs qualifiers, you need 4 wins out of 10 games. As long as you're like reasonably good at this game, getting 4 wins out of 10 games, not a problem at all. I've done it with the bronze team this year. And so I would be inclined to be like, let me just try her. The issue with that is this isn't like previous FIFAs. Last year, maybe we can exclude. The year before, maybe we can exclude. But FIFA 21 and beyond, prior, I wouldn't have a team much better than having someone like this Endo in. You know, when Future Stars came about, or when post-Team of the Year promos came about, my team wasn't so grand that an 87 rated card like this wouldn't get into it. Whereas this year, I mean, I've got Vinicius Jr. honourable mention on the bench. Gabriel Martinelli winter wildcard on the bench. I've got my insane Evo Gio Quiroz on the bench. Where am I using Endo instead of these? And okay, again, of course, maybe this card then just isn't for me. And maybe it isn't for you. But who is it for? And once you've played, here's like one of the big issues with this game. Once you've played your Champs qualifiers, you now have to wait for Champs to open. And then the only other game mode, because it's closed, the only other game mode that you can reasonably use to help with rewards and stuff is Rivals. And as we all know, Rivals is the biggest sweat fest in the history of the world this year. And so nobody wants to take, because there's no relegation in Rivals, and I really hope next year EA just delete Rivals and introduce new game modes or a new game mode. I know a lot of people want the old division system back where there was relegation available as well. But the problem with that is everyone's just going to relegate themselves down to a really low division for easy pickings and, you know, the easy games and stuff. And I don't think that's the answer either. I think the whole division system just needs to disappear and a new system needs to be put in place. But that's another conversation for another day. Because where we are with it right now is, I'm in Division 2 in Rivals, and I didn't get there with this team. I actually got there with my Arsenal Evo team. So using Ben White at right back, using Martinelli at right mid, using, who do I have at centre mid? I had Dennis Bergkamp at centre mid. And then basically you can see here, let me take away the new, and I had Martin Odegaard at centre mid. But you can see here, like, I have got 849 games on Odegaard, 565 on Rice, 382 on Thomas Partey. We've got Ben White now has got 365 games and he's got 80 pace at right back. And I'm in Division 2 with this team and it's been a stress and a struggle because of how good everybody else's team is. So if you're in a division with your best team and you think to yourself, I've just got Endo, let me go and test her out, see how good she is, just for a laugh, you know, just want to go and find out how good she is. Where are you going to play her? You've already qualified for Champs. Maybe you've got Champs this weekend. You don't want to play her in Champs because you don't want to forfeit some wins by using somebody not good enough in one of the best modes, but only can play once a week. So you're going to play her in Rivals, and you're going to end up coming to get up against people that don't care that you've got Endo, that have got Pele and Zidane and Hullet and Best and Eusebio and a Team of the Year Messi because they got it out of the player pick. And you're like, I'm using Endo and they're using this. And so EA have created, as I say, a game world where it's all well and good having lower tier players for either people that are new to the game or people that don't have many coins of maybe, you know, just come back to the game, or people that just enjoy building fun teams. Maybe somebody wants to make a full Japanese team and they're like, oh, brilliant. Endo upgrades my kind of like gold left mid that I had. That's brilliant. It's not about building these teams. It's about where do you play with these teams? And that seems to be the biggest core issue on the game. And so whilst I can absolutely sit here and like I say, I'm a bit disappointed. I'm a bit gutted, I suppose, that there's no Arsenal Evo card for Future Stars Academy Attacker, because I really like it. And I've been missing somebody, as I say, that has Power Header Plus and Aerial, because I've got Whip Pass Plus on Kai Havertz. And I'm sitting there constantly trying to whip the ball into the box. And even though Henry's reasonably tall in the game, He doesn't have the best jumping and heading. And then I've got Gio Quiroz, who's like 5'6", so she's useless. And then like there's Willian, who just doesn't have the physicality for it. He's useless. And so I'm sitting there like, this is going to be fun for me, but I'm going to become immediately detached because it's not an Arsenal player. And so I get why the situation with like these Future Stars cards is a bit frustrating. And I also appreciate entirely the fact that when it comes to evos are supposed to be about evolving your favorite team and your favorite players. And so if with an evo like this, I know it's free and you might just use it for fodder. You might be like, let me just take 2 82 rated cards, turn them to 90s and put them into an icon SBC. Bosh. Do it with midfielders and defenders. You've got yourself, an 89 rated team basically for free. But the situation remains. If you're not attached to any of these players, this isn't what evos were about. They might as well have made these cards objective cards that you just played for and got. And, you once you complete the objective as a player pick of 9 and you just get to do it twice, that would have been more appropriate in other people's minds because people feel like they've removed the ability to upgrade one of their own players. And I'm probably going to make a video on evos in the coming days because I think the whole evo system is ballsed up, basically. I think EA have made huge mistakes with it throughout the year. Obviously, it didn't help that the chaining and the broken chaining and the glitch chaining has created some like 95 to 99 rated cards with 3 playstyle pluses, some even with 4 playstyle pluses where they weren't supposed to be in the game. I appreciate that that's happened, and EA probably didn't expect that to happen. But the way evos are this year are just really, really poor. And so it might be the post-Team of the Year hangover, right? It might be the post-Team of the Year hangover. But there is seemingly very little reason to play this game on a day-to-day basis right now due to the fact that unless you recently started the game, which if you did, you've probably still got an incredibly reasonable squad. I'm probably going to do like a 6-hour RTG actually in the coming days to show what you can get within 6 hours or maybe 10 hours so that I can get all those Evo cards up, like basically showing what you can do in a real short amount of time right now. But it's so hard at this point already in the game to improve your team because you've got one of a few options. Option number 1 is waiting for an Evo to upgrade a card that you've got, which is already probably massively behind the power curve. That's not really an appropriate option. Option number 2 is you've already got an insane team, and so you need a big SBC to come out, and even then it's probably a side grade. Or option number 3 is you get one of the premium cards from the promo. But of course, when we're looking at the promo and we're looking at these cards, we have got, in fact, let me go into the market here. We have got, for example, even Steven Gerrard is 784,000 coins. Wayne Rooney is extinct. Ronaldinho is extinct. Paolo Maldini is extinct. Roberto Carlos is 2.8 million coins. Even if you had the coins to be able to afford this 15 million coin Ronaldinho, you can't buy him, right? Because he's just not there on the market. And the likelihood of you packing him is incredibly small, but he would be one person that might upgrade your team. And so even if we look at the Future Stars regular squad, James is 1 million, Doku's nearly 3 million, Garnacho's nearly 4 million, Balde is nearly 1 million. And one of the biggest issues in this game is the fact that there are almost no tradable packs in the game anymore, especially not as reward packs. Like you get your Foot Champs packs for 50k and 100k perhaps. That's about the best you get in terms of tradable reward packs. You get your qualifiers, but they're not really good. They haven't scaled with the game. Even the Champs rewards haven't scaled with the game, and Rivals rewards 1,000,000% haven't scaled with the game. And then you're most likely going to take those untradable for double the chance at packing a card and putting those elsewhere. But the question you have is like, where are people getting the coins from to buy a Doku or a Garnacho? And even then, these cards are not that good to the point where they warrant 4 million coins. Even if you bought it, played with it, sold it, you lose in a tax, right? So EA have dug themselves into this really weird hole with the game right now where every single promo that comes out, we look at Road to the Final. You've got the cards that are good are hyper expensive and entirely unobtainable. Everything else is a side grade at the very best and super obtainable. And I don't know how they get out of this hole. And again, it begs the question of what are we actually, other than just because you enjoy the game or personal pride, what are we playing the game for right now? Why am I going into champs this weekend to get, you know, at the very best, maybe I pack a Crespo, right? And then what team's he going into? And the reason why the answer is none is because if we take, for example, this evoed up Brian Brobby, let me go into foot.gg for it. Let's get Brobby here. Brian Brobby, Evolution, number 90. Compare him to this brand new Crespo card. And there you have it. Brobby's got more pace, same shooting, a little bit less passing, fair enough. More and better play styles. 2 less dribbling, much more physical, also 4-star, 4-star. Why do you care about Suker? And for me, it's EA's responsibility right now to give us a reason to want to not play with the top end cards that we've had and have got for so long. You know, like I say, like even if we just look at the SBC team that you can complete, Cafu, Cole, Maldini, Blanc, Schmeichel, Hullet, Zidane, Eusebio, Best, Sauer, Henry, Mbappe Player of the Month. This is the core of most people's teams. And so if that's the core of at least hardcore players' teams, right? If that's the core of most hardcore players' teams, I don't understand what EA are doing with these promos. With that being said, I like what they're doing with Future Stars Academy. I just wish it was a little bit more open to me doing, like, making a player that I wanted in my team rather than who they've selected. I can understand why they've done it the way they've done it, because they want it to be actual future stars and not to be just a random guy, you know, some 32-year-old striker that you've put in that's like, oh, here's a future stars. You know, imagine putting in Eddie Nketiah and getting him in there. It would be kind of pointless, right? But the way they've done it, it's a little bit of a slap in the face to people that have been grinding Evos the whole year. And the reason why I say that, and we'll kind of end on this point, is because I'm going to have this Brian Brobby over the next couple of days be 90 rated with 4-star, 4-star, 2 playstyle pluses, and be absolutely incredible. And to be fair, the games that I've already played with him, he's done all right. 3 games, 5 goals, 1 assist. That's 1 Rivals game, 2 Champs games. The player that I really want to upgrade, the player that I really want in my team to be good enough and to be useful and to be usable is Eddie Nketiah. You know, he's an Arsenal player. I've had him as an 86 rated for about 2.5, maybe even 3 months now. I have played a lot of games with him, 365 games. We've got a lot of goals and a lot of assists with him, but he's still 3-star, 3-star. He's still got bang average stats. I mean, even woeful stats. And he's still, other than power header and finesse shot, he just doesn't have any playstyles. Like, and so I understand immensely people's frustrations with Future Stars Academy, because I think people don't want to be able to take some new random low rated card and make them 90 rated, 2 playstyle pluses, 4-star, 4-star, or 5-star, 5-star. I think they want to take the players that they've been working on for months and have hundreds or if not thousands of games on and take them, because nothing would make me happier than to make Eddie Nketiah 90 rated with those exact 2 playstyle pluses, plus 1 on the weak foot, like it gives, and a big stat boost to the point where, you know, his composure becomes a little bit more relevant, his physicals are a bit more relevant, and maybe his pace is a bit more relevant. That would be so good. And the fact that we can't do that, it kind of just makes, for me personally anyway, evolutions feel like EA just don't know what they're doing with them, and taking it to a point where it's like, what can they do going forwards to allow people to actually increase the team that they want to play with over a period of time without enabling people to get 99 rated players in any particular manner? And I've got thoughts and ideas on that, and I'll share those in another video in the coming days. For today, that is going to be the end. I've rambled on for enough now. I really just wanted to talk about this topic because it's something I've seen a lot, as I say, on my timelines today. And there seems to be a lot of like frustration with the game at the moment due to the fact that it's it's again, unless you're like new to the game, and then there's a very easy path to upgrade your team. But if you've been playing this game already all this year, or even if you got it at Christmas and you've been playing it for 2 months or whatever, at this moment in time, with the way EA have created this game world that we're in right now, it is incredibly difficult to actually improve your team right now. And that feels like it goes against the grain of what Ultimate Team should be about. and I don't know how EA remedy it. It's not my job to remedy it for them, but I'd be excited to hear what you guys have to say down below. So for today, guys, that is going to be the end of the video. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time. I'm out. Peace.